Hey guys, this is Steve with LRM Leasing. Today we're going to go over a taillight issue on this Freightliner Cascadia that's right behind me. So we're going to try to determine if the light's bad or the harness is bad, or it could be both. So there's going to be a few tools that you're going to need so we can determine what the problem is, as well as repairing it. We're going to first pull out our test light, because the first thing we want to do is verify that we have power and ground into our light. Because once we figure that out, that we still have power and ground here, then we know that the only issue is the light itself or the wiring just right here. If we have no power or ground, then I would have to go further, double check the wire up towards the front, or also maybe check some fuses. So what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna turn the truck on, and then I'm gonna hook up my test light, make sure I have a good ground, and then start looking for power. So let's start on that. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hook up to a ground. I usually go straight to the shock. Now, sometimes there might be some dirt or some paint. Just work the clamp back and forth. Once you put the clamp on, I use the shock area, and sometimes you'll see dirt or some paint. Just work it back and forth until you get a good contact on metal. And then what you want to do is turn on the truck and then verify that if we have power going to our pigtail. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn the truck on. All right, guys, so I turned on the truck and I turned the lights on. As you can tell, the left side's not on. What you can do is you can take your test light and you have a red and white, a brown and a black. All right. So your brown one should be your constant power. As you guys can see, this side lights up. So we have power. That should be our normal power. The red one should be your stop, and then the black will be your ground. All right, guys. So once you have determined that you have power at the plug, and then you have a good ground, then what we can do is go forward and replace in the pigtail end. So when you go to the store, this is especially the one that you have, try to replace for the ones that you have like for like. Now, sometimes if the store doesn't have it, doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Then buy the 3-prong one and then just make sure that the light has a 3-prong as well, so it can match up when you plug it in. So for instance, what we're gonna do is we're gonna match this one as we see on the truck. So this one's a spaded one, and you should be able to buy them like this. Now, sometimes the store may not have it and they're like, oh, well, I have this. You can plug into this. It doesn't matter. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this end off and we can still use what we need to make the repair. So I'm gonna go to my bag and we're gonna pull out the cutters, because like I said, we don't need this end. So we're gonna just chop that bad boy right off. I'm gonna grab another pair where these are my wire cutters and crimpers. And what you do is, I always start out with the ground first. So white is ground, right? Red is your stop, black, or it could be brown, will be your running light, your constant power when you turn the lights on, when you hit the brakes, all right? As well as your turn signal. So what you wanna do is I start, like I said, with the ground. Work a little bit until you get a little bit of wire. And then what I do is I twist. And then the butt connectors I use, right? The ones I like the most are these bad boys. It's the kind that you put on, you crimp it, but then you heat it up so you can try to avoid water going in there to cause corrosion. So we're gonna heat this up once we get it all together. So what I normally do is I like to get my wires all ready. We're gonna just get all the wires stripped, twisted. And when you put these on, when you twist it, I'll do the same thing with the butt connector. I'll just twist them on so I can get all the wire inside, and then I crimp. Now, what you wanna do is just make sure you give it a little tug, make sure they're connected, because if you pull it and it comes off, guess what? You connect it and then it falls right off and you still have a wire problem. So now the next thing we're gonna do, if this is your first time, I strongly suggest that you guys match up the plug right over, and then you just cut one by one and you'll match them up like for like, all right? So the black one here, turn signal and your stoplight. So when you match these up, you'll be on point. So if you're gonna do the white one first, you're just gonna cut just enough at the end. And we'll do the same thing. We're gonna strip, twist it, and then we're gonna put it right into the butt connector and she'll slide right in. We're just gonna match them up like for like. So the black is gonna go with the brown because it's in the middle. This one's in the middle as well. Now I know each truck is different. Colors could be different of the wire. But if you match them up with the pigtail that you're putting on, you shouldn't have a problem. And then if you do make a mistake and not sure, you can go back to your test light and then turn on so you know which one's main power. So you keep that one, take that off the side, turn on the turn signal, and then see which one blinks. And then you mark that wire as well. So if you guys ever walk away or drop it and you're not quite sure, then what you can do is just do that as well with your test light. You can turn on each one just to see. So as you can see, I have everything here, and I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna pull. I'm not gonna pull real hard. All we're doing is doing a light tug, making sure they're properly installed. We just don't want a wire to fall out of the butt connector. Now, before I heat anything up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a light, plug it in, and make sure that the light is working as well. So I wanna make sure the running, the turn, and the stop before I install it and before I heat up the butt connectors. So I got my light here, and we already have the light on here, so we should see a light with power. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's in the shade. And look at that, eureka. Light is working. That's what we want to see. Now what I would probably do is, before I do that, I'll just turn on the left turn signal just to make sure it's blinking. If it's blinking, then I know that's another way to verify that I have the wires connected correctly to my pigtail. So I'm gonna turn on the left turn signal right now. I know that I got power to my light. I know the turn signal is working. So the next thing I wanna do is I wanna heat these up so the butt connectors will shrink right onto the tube so we avoid water or any outside elements to get inside. And then I do wrap it up with some electrical tape for another extra security. So I'm gonna show you guys how I heat this up. So let me go to my tool bag. All right, guys, so I have a little butane by Power Probe. I love this tool, I've had it for years. So what I'm gonna do is turn it on, click, and if you don't have one, that's fine. Cigarette, lighter. It just takes a little while and you'll burn your fingers, but it will do the job. And see how you see how the butt connector is hugging the electrical line? And that's what we want. We want it nice and sealed because we don't want any water or any intrusion from the outside elements. And just keep your fingers away because you will feel the heat. And this Power Probe, I definitely like it because it directs the heat in one direction. And I'll repeat this process for all three. Start in the middle and work my way out. All right, guys. So with your Power Probe, just put it off to the side so it can cool down. But as you can see, it's all nice and sealed. Light's working. This is what we want to see. Now the final step I would do here is I'm gonna get some electrical tape, wrap it up just for some more extra security. And then once we're done with that, we're gonna pull the old light out and then install the other one, and then we're done. So I got my electrical tape from my bag, and what I'm gonna do is from the old wire, I'm gonna start from the top and work my way down to seal it all up. So if you can keep it nice and tight, one, it just keeps everything streamlined. And then what we're trying to do is just avoid from other stuff to go in there. So now the next thing we wanna do is replace the light. So at this point, I'm gonna unplug the light. And then I already went to my bag. I'm gonna get myself a flathead, put it on the corner between the rubber grommet and the light and pull out. And you're gonna do that a few times. She'll pop out just like so and pull. Now, you can pull out the rubber grommet, which doesn't hurt, especially get all the dirt out, because it's just gonna help you to install the new one. So get all that crud, dirt from the outside elements, and then reinstall the light, put at an angle, and just push, just like so. And then the last thing you gotta do is just plug the bad boy back in. I like that it's blinking. And there you guys go. We have a working left tail light once again. And I would clean the other side too, just so that they both match. So I don't have any water and a little soap. So sometimes when we install a new pigtail, the wires might be a little longer. Just take a look back here. And what we'll probably do is probably add an extra zip tie just so the wire's not hanging down low, just so you can make it a little bit more taut. And as well as you may have some loom that you pulled out, just put the loom back over the pre-existing wire as far as you can, just to protect the wire. So by the looks of this, you may not need a zip tie. Everything looks good. So I know there's a lot of people that may have other tricks. I just use my thumb on each side and just spread it like a sandwich. What you may want to do is probably add a little electrical tape here and you know, just along this part. So it just looks seamless, a little better. So, and that's what I'll end up doing. So it all depends on your guys' preference. I've seen technicians just cut the loom here, just go right up to the electrical tape. I like to have, you know, it doesn't hurt, especially from rubbing, causing the other issues, and just put it around the loom. And it's just a little extra. I'm pretty sure the next mechanic will love me because he would have to cut all this out if he has to fix the wire again, but hopefully it's not for a while. So when you guys repair any kind of electrical on the truck, I highly recommend that you guys stay away with the clips that you just put the wires and push down. They're like Scott locks. Well, what happens with those? Corrosion, and you'll be back with the same problem within a week. So take the time, do it right, and you'll be surprised how long this will last if you do the repair correctly. All right, guys, so that was repairing the taillight and also replacing the pigtail. So if you guys have any questions about what you saw today, don't forget to leave me a comment at the bottom. If you guys will like what you saw, don't forget to pound that like button. And guys, don't forget to subscribe so we can get some more content and for you to save some more money. I'll see you guys at the next video.